بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ذلك بما قدمت أيديكم وأن الله ليس بظلام للعبيد الذين قالوا إن الله عهد إلينا ألا نؤمن لرسول حتى يأتينا بقربان تأكله النار قل قد جاءكم رسل من قبلي بالبينات وبالذي قلتم فلم قتلتموهم إن كنتم صادقين فإن كان كل نفس ذائقة الموت وإنما توفون أجوركم يوم القيامة فمن زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور لتبلون في أموالكم وأنفسكم ولتسمعن من الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم ومن الذين أشركوا أذى كثيرا وإن تصبروا وتتقوا فإن ذلك من عزم الأمور وإذ أخذ الله ميثاق الذين أوتوا الكتاب لتبيننه للناس ولا تكتمونه فنبذوه وراء ظهورهم واشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فبئس ما يشترون. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. This is the reward of what your hands have done, and Allah is never unjust to His creation. Those are the same people who say, Allah has commanded us not to believe in any messenger unless He brings us an offering to be consumed by fire from the sky. Say, O Prophet, other prophets did in fact come to you before me with clear proofs and even what you demanded. Why then did you kill them if what you said is true? If you are rejected by them, so too were messengers before you who came with clear proofs, divine books and enlightening scriptures. Every soul will taste death. And you will only receive your full reward on the day of judgment. Whoever is spared from the fire and is admitted into paradise will be successful, whereas the life of this world is no more than the delusion of enjoyment. You believers will surely be tested in your wealth and yourselves, and you will certainly hear many hurtful words from those who were given the scriptures before you and from the polytheists. But if you are patient and mindful of Allah, surely this is a resolve to aspire to. Remember, O Prophet, when Allah took the covenant of those who were given the scriptures to make it known to people and not hide it, yet they cast it behind their backs and traded it for a fleeting gain. What a miserable prophet. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. Rahimallah man qara al-Fatiha.
I, a- I ask everyone a simple question. If any one of us were to die today, are we prepared? I know that I am not. Many times we think of death as the end of life and creation. However, death is not the end of life, rather, it is the continuation of life. Just like in the Holy Quran, Allah says in Surah Mut Ayah 2, He is the one who created death and life in order to test which of you is best in deeds. And He is the Almighty, the All Forgiven. All of us fear death due to nothing but our lack of preparation, as we have given up the preparation of the hereafter and the eternal life for the temporary pleasures in this life. And Allah describes in the Holy Quran the life of this world as nothing but a diversion and an amusement. In Surah Ankabut, ayah number 64. We need to understand death as the transition of life, as the transition from this worldly life to the eternal life. And we need to always prepare for it, no matter what age we are in. Because death does not discriminate. It is there for everyone, no matter what race, gender, wealth, status, or whatever you are. And just like the verses that were just there, Allah says in the Quran, "Kullu nafsin za'itatul maut," that every soul shall taste death. So we should always be ready for it at all times. Just like the level of readiness and prepared, that just like how the Shuhada of Karbala were, and that's why to them death was as sweet as honey. We are always running death away from death, while death is drawing nearer every day, every second. And Imam Ali says, every breath is a step towards death. One tip for everyone is that, and for myself before before everyone, is that we should always, before doing something, think to ourselves, with this action or whatever I'm saying, how will it affect my deeds? In what direction will it tip my mizan on the day of judgment? Most of us aren't aware and are many times confused of who to call and what procedures to follow if somebody dies. And we don't know what payments are to be made and all the procedures that our Jamaat does for when somebody dies. And to further explain this, we invite the Mind Committee to guide us through this process, and so that it may be useful to us in the future. Salawat. Mind Committee.
My elders, brothers, sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I stand in front of you all on behalf of the Mayat Committee to just give you a short briefing on what to be prepared when death happens at home or at the hospital. Sometimes when death happens in our families, be it at home or at hospital, the family are in a state of shock and they are confused on what they have to do or what is the next step to be done. And that is why we as Mayat Committee take over the responsibility on behalf of the family in order to take control of all the rituals which are to be performed on the dead body. Now, if that happens at home or at the hospital, what is the first step that we need to be prepared? If it is at the hospital and the doctor on duty confirms that the deceased has passed away, so immediately you need to arrange for a burial permit. Burial permit is given by the hospital, which allows the committee or the family to take the body for burial. Now, if death has happened at home, immediately, or you are confused if the person has passed away or not, first immediately call the doctor who usually treats the deceased, a family doctor, or if the patient usually visits a hospital, for example, Aga Khan, Ibrahim Haji, then call the doctor on duty to come and certify if the person has passed away. Now, sometimes it happens that at certain hospitals there are timing. For example, if it is a government hospital, Muimbele or Amana, then sometimes by 6 o'clock in the evening, later than that, they do not give out the body. So they take the body and keep it in the mortuary. However, we try and get assistance from the Mayat committee and the doctors who are there at the hospital. And if we are lucky, then they allow us to take the body. If not, then the body is kept until the next day. Sometimes, because the family is also in a shocking state, the hospital requires the patient's bill to be paid off and then they discharge the body. So all these incidents happens at the hospital, so we, in case, God forbid, might happens to any of our family members, if it's at the hospital, so all these things need to be taken care of before the Mayat committee can come and take the body. Now, when Mayat happens, we get a call that Mayat has happened and we require you to come to take the body at the hospital. So, in the meantime, we explain to the family that kindly ask for the burial permit. Once you have the burial permit in hand, that's when we can come and take the body. So once we have received the information about the deceased, it takes us around 20 to 30 minutes to organize our team, and then we come to the deceased place or at the hospital to come and collect the body. After the burial permit is issued and the Mayat committee has already reached the place, for example, be it a hospital, at home, to come and collect the body, we immediately take out a short message on behalf of the Mayat committee to inform the public that certain person has passed away. Now, usually, if the person is very well known, they start spelling out messages that certain person has passed away, not realizing that maybe the deceased has his family abroad who might read the message and come and get a state of shock. So we should always be calm and patient until the Mayat committee has taken out the message, then we can forward the message to the other groups. When the person has passed away at home or at the hospital, once the doctor is confirmed, try and keep the body facing Qibla. And if there are a few family members, they can sit next to the body and start reciting Quran and any du'as which will benefit the Mayat. However, sometimes we come to know that there is a lot of overcrowding happening at a certain deceased house or at the hospital. So we need to give them space, we need to give the family time to digest the Mayat has happened, and we should wait outside, let the Mayat committee to come and take over the responsibility. Certain question arises that I've touched the Mayat and when he passed away. Now, until and unless the Mayat has become cold, which takes around 2 to 3 hours for the Mayat to become cold, that's only Ghusl Mayat is wajib on the person who has touched the body. So not that if the person has just passed away and you have touched and Ghusl Mayat is wajib, no. So the masala, Sheikh inshallah will explain it to you. After the Mayat team has come to take over, if we need to be prepared with the name of the deceased person, the family, for example, the mother of, the father of, the brother of, and the sister, just the immediate family. We don't write a big message with extended family and all, because the message becomes too long even to spread it to the tabligh message, it becomes difficult. So just the immediate family, a name has to be prepared. If it's a male, prepare one photograph which will also be taken out in the message, and that photograph will be stuck on the board here at mosque. Usually if it's at night and the photograph is not ready, then you come and hand over the photograph to Brother Nizar Molu, who is here at mosque. We usually have kafan. We go to Ziyarat and we buy kafan from Karbala. So the Mayat committee does use that kafan to give it to the Mayat. So the Mayat committee have their own set of kafan, and then the kafan which has come from Karbala is put on the Mayat on top. Even if the Mayat does not have the kafan from Karbala, we usually have people who donate the kafan from Karbala, so we try and accommodate that also. So once we have taken the body, we bring the body to the Sabodo Ghusl Khana or the Kabristan Ghusl Khana. Now, that is certainly for sure, it's wajib. We do not know at what time it's going to happen. It can happen late at night, it can happen early morning, it can happen midday or during the day. So depending on the timing of the Mayat has happened, that's how we then set up a team to come and do ghusl and kafan on the deceased. We have our female team who is led by Siddiqa Bai Pardhan, and we have the gents team, which is led by Hassan Bai Shamji. And then below the team, we have different sets of team. For example, we have a pickup team, we have a ghusl team, we have a kafan team, and then we have the dafan team. So it is not that all the duties are done by ourselves, no. We are members of around 50 to 60 in total, and that's how we divide ourselves. So depending if it's at night, then we need to keep the body in the, after 11 o'clock at night, then we keep the body in the mortuary, and then we perform ghusl for gents after subh namaz. And for ladies, the time is set accordingly with the burial time. For example, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it depends. When we set up the ghusl time, we inform the family that we are going to perform ghusl at a certain time, and we request 2 or 3 members from the family to join in. The wajibat is upon the family to give the rights to the burial, but because we are there as Mayat committee, we take over the responsibility, we take the permission from the family to allow us to perform the responsibilities. However, we also request them to send 2 or 3 members to come from the family, not only to give the right to the deceased, but also to learn on what happens, on how to give ghusl and kafan to the body. After the ghusl is given, and if we have 2 timings which the Jamaat has said, that is after Zohar Asr and after Maghrib Isha. So after, if it's after Zohar Asr, we have the ghusl done in the morning, and then the ghusl is done, and the kafan is done at around 11 o'clock. Immediately after that, we give them the timings to come and view the face for the families. And if it's after Maghrib Isha, then the ghusl is done in the afternoon, and the kafan is given in the evening, and the family is allowed to come and see the face just before Maghrib. In case if we have somebody coming from abroad, coming to attend the burial, and the family wants to wait for the person, then the Mayat committee accommodates up to 10 to 10:30 p.m. at night, so that the person who is coming from abroad can come and participate in the burial. If we have people coming in for ghusl, whoever is from the lady side or the gent side, there might be certain wounds or something which the Mayat has gone through, but that is. But remember one thing, that if any person goes and discloses a certain aim of the Mayat, there is nobody who can forgive you. The only person who can forgive you is the person who has passed away. So before giving ghusl, the Mayat committee always emphasizes and requests the family that whoever is coming, whatever has transpired during the ghusl and kafan should remain there. It remains with you in your heart, and you do not go and disclose it. Even if anybody asks you, you do not disclose anything. We as Mayat committee have taken an oath and promised ourselves and the community that when we are undertaking this responsibility, we will never ever disclose any information. That's why even while going for the face view, if the family wants to come and see the face, and then they request, can we take a picture to send our families who are abroad? So we always tell them that as per my committee, we do not allow such things, but if you are taking the responsibility, make sure that this picture does not spread out. So that responsibility is upon the family and the family members to ensure that this does not happen. However, we do not encourage that. Now, once the body has already been taken and brought to the ghusl khana, there are some sunnah mustahabat that we need to do. One is to take out sadaqah, a goat sadaqah before and after the burial. We have people who are doing that, for example, repass. There is Brother Ahmad, Brother Shabar Tejani. There are few individuals who are doing it on behalf of the team. Then there is to recite 40 Surah Yasin, 70 Surah Mulk, and 3 Surah Baqarah. However, because of the family crowd and guests visiting the place, if the family cannot, for certain reasons, not recite this, then the Mayat committee has a Malin who can recite on behalf of the family. Another mustahabat is to give a new pair of clothes to the needy, to give out cash sadaqah before and after the burial, and for the deceased son to start reciting qaza namaz as many as possible before the burial. On the first night of the burial, it is mustahab to get the malim to recite throughout the night, because the first night is a very difficult night for the mayat. So we have a malim who is there at Kapastan, who, when the family requires, we accommodate to recite the Quran throughout the night. Going towards the burial timings, as I informed you, there are two, after Zohar, Asr, after Maghrib, Isha, except for public holidays or certain cases that we need to immediately bury, or if it's on a public holiday, we can accommodate in the evening at around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So it depends on which day the mayat has happened, and if it's possible, during the weekend, we can try and accommodate, or in case of a public holiday. Now, the person passes away Thursday night and Friday early morning. When we go and collect the body, they emphasize us that we want to bury it before Jummah. So, according to sitting with the scholars, we have already been informed that if a person passes away after Maghrib on Thursday and before Jummah on Friday, the sawab of the deceased is already there. Whenever you bury, even if you bury after 2 or 3 days, but the sawab of that particular deceased is already there. So we also on Fridays we do bury after Jummah namaz. So the main thing also for burial is the namaz of mayit. So we always emphasize the public to come and as many people as possible to come and recite the mayit namaz. For certain cases, for example, we have infants or small babies who pass away just before being born. We do not have the burial as we do it for the normal individuals, so that is done on private and it's done immediately. So whichever family faces, for example, an infant or a baby has passed away, then the mayat committee takes over the responsibility, gives it ghusl, kafan, and we bury it privately. Also, some operation cases happen where a certain part of the body is amputated. For example, somebody has diabetes or an accident case, and certain part of the body has been removed from the body. So that part of the body does not have to be thrown out. You need to bury it. So the family consults the mayat committee, and we do the necessary arrangement to bury the particular part. Another thing is, just before burial, it is very important to pay the kafan dafan charges of the deceased. So we always request you to, that's why the emphasis of the burial permit is to take the copy of burial permit and go to the Jamaat office and pay the burial charges. It's approximately 270 to 290,000. Now, going to burial, we are facing some challenges. As you know, our Kabastan is almost full, and we do not have enough places to bury. So we request the family to inform us if they have any family member who had passed away 18 years and above, so we can reuse that grave. Now, for using that grave, we can use 18 years or above. If at all the family does not have any relative, then the mayat committee tries to find a place where they can bury the deceased. If the mayat happens late at night or early morning and requires a stretch of time before the burial, so then we use the mortuary even case by case. For example, when we had COVID cases, we used to keep the body for 8 to 10 hours for the safety of the people doing the ghusl. If it's an accident case or somebody is coming from abroad, we cannot keep the body outside. We need to keep the body in the mortuary. હવે બીજા લોકો કહે કે વસિયત કહે કે મોચી મનાને કે હવે જે ટાઈમમાં મેં થઈ ગયું છે આપણે કોઈને ખબર નથી. હવે એ એવું ટાઈમમાં થાય ને રાતના એ 12-1 વાગે, then we cannot keep it till morning 12. We have to keep it into the mortuary. પછી સવારના આપણે ગુસ્સો કહી શકીએ. પછી આપણે આવે છે મસ્જિદમાં recitation હોય છે family સાથે. We have this Surah Mulk, Surah Yasin, Maisha. When the family comes to see the face, we always emphasize, if it's a lady, to the gents to be careful about the mahram and non-mahram issue. certain families, because of what the death has happened, they be in a confused state, they start panicking and becoming angry. But we have to follow the guidelines which have been set, which the Sheikh will explain it to you. When the time of the mayat has happened at mosque, we start with the recitation, we have a majlis, and then the body is taken to Kabristan. In Kabristan, we request 3 to 4 members from the family on the giant side to come down with one of the representative of the mayat committee, so they can also participate in doing the dafan. Even after the burial, we have consoling away, like shaking hands to the family who have undergone this trauma of having a deceased passed away. But we always request that there should be minimum 5 to 7. Sometimes family come and there are 10 to 12 members who we have to accommodate. We are not refusing, but the lesser we are, it's better than for the family, so that they can finish this shaking of hands as soon as possible. Before COVID, the Mayat committee was arranging kari money for the family, be it afternoon or after Maghrib Isha. But when COVID hit us, we had stopped totally giving out kari money. Now, inshallah, as we are back to normal, we are going to resume our talks with Jamaat, inshallah. And in case, God forbid, any Mayat happens, kari money will be provided. One thing to bear in mind is whenever the death has happened, we should at least appoint one representative on behalf of the family to liaise with the Mayat committee. Any decisions which they need to make, so the Mayat committee is easy for them to liaise with the person to give out the decision. For example, be it timing, be it ghusl, be it face viewing, and be it burial. Sometimes there clashes into families where we have 3 to 4 people having different decisions. So we request the family to have one representative who will be liaising with the Mayat committee. For the public, we usually try and emphasize that whenever death has happened, be it at home, at hospital, or at mosque, we should avoid laughing, we should avoid talking about worldly affairs, smoking, eating pariki, because we do not know what the family has been going through. So we should always keep in mind that that person has gone ahead and we are next. So we should ponder on that. We also request not to take pictures and videos which might cause commotion on social media. And yes, at the end, it's always before taking up the responsibility, we always promise ourselves, our families, and our community that we will undertake this task with taqwa, humbleness, and we'll always keep the secret of whatever has happened for the mayat. It will be between us. We always encourage trainees, any person who wishes to join, be it gents or ladies, you're always welcome. We have no restriction that you cannot come, no. We are always encouraging youngsters to come up, come and learn. Whenever mayat has happened, we have our groups, which we try and inform that the mayat has happened, come for ghusl and kafan. And we do not know where or which place we might be in the years to come. So then, if we know the basic ritual, then we'll be able to perform ghusl and kafan wherever we are. So I've covered everything. On behalf of the Mayat committee, we're also trying to make out certain flyers to distribute in the coming Kushali, so that everybody has the flyer at home. In case we need to be prepared psychologically, we should be reading. In case somebody needs assistance or Mayat has happened at our house, we are prepared on what to do. In case if I've missed out anything and you need to ask anything, inshallah, during the question and answers, you can always ask and we'll respond to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for those words and that guidance. Our volunteers are currently passing out paper and pen. If you have any questions, please do write them down and they will get answered, inshallah. Continue on, we will now have Sheikh Muhammad Amran, who will introduce to us the faith and the masail of death, and he will also explain to us the spiritual aspect of death and the life after the death. Salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين مولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواحنا له الفداء ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وقوله الحق أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Recite one salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajan. Before I start this session, I would like to ask the Mayor Committee and DS, how many minutes do I have? 20 minutes? MashaAllah. It will be MP3, huh? It will be zipped file. Huh? Let's see, inshallah. भी मौलाना से इतने में तो मुंह भी गीला नहीं होगा. Let's see, inshallah. Hope. At the beginning, we'll be discussing some of the spiritual and the akhlaq aspect of death. Then I'll be continuing some of the fiqhi aspects, Islamic rulings of death. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide. The reason I'm sitting here is so I can see. Please go to the next slide. Yeah. Go to the next slide. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So it was a powerful message actually. I saw on the social media. I wanted to share it with you. In Urdu, it is written in one of the graves, मैं अहम था, यही वहम था. I was important, and that was a delusion. I was thinking I am an important person, huh? And that was my delusion. When I went to Qabr, I came to know I'm nothing. I'm not Pramukh. I'm not manager. I'm not Sayyid. I'm nothing. I'm Abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing. Go to the next slide. This is a verse from Surah Yunus, chapter number 10, verse number 49. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ أَجَلٌ. For every person, for every people, for every nation, there is an appointed time. There is ajal. The time of death is there. فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ. When the time of death comes, لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً. They are not able to put it off. They cannot say, Hazrat Israel, please come tomorrow. لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً. For a moment they cannot delay it. وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. You cannot say, please come today. No. You are not allowed to go ahead for it. Whatever it is written, it will come. لا يستأخرون ولا يستقدمون. You can see this picture of Ayatollah Mehdawi Kani. He died almost 3-4 years back. Why I have shared this photograph, there is a reason behind that. He was in the state of unconsciousness. He was paralyzed. When the percham of the shrine of Imam Rida alayhi salatu wasalam was brought and was put on his face, he started crying. The tear came out. He was paralyzed. Reason I have shared that picture, that you might have seen some people when they die, their eyes are open. Their eyes are open. Why? What's the reason behind that? Somebody asked this question from Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. Then Imam alayhi salatu wasalam replied the same answer. فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. They are not able to close their eyes. They are not given that much time. And the ruh is taken out of the body. They are blinking, and the ruh is taken out. So half is open, half is closed. So we don't have that much authority, we can delay our death. Go to the next slide. In Surah Mu'minun, verse number 99 and verse number 100, when Hazrat Israel Malakul Maut will come to us, what will we be saying to Hazrat Israel alayhi salatu wasalam? Quran has mentioned this thing. Hatta iza ja'a ahaduhumul maut. When maut comes to one of them, qala, they say, Rabbirji'uni, oh Allah, give me the permission, I should go back to the world. There are a lot of things pending. I have to pay my curse, I have to offer salah, rosas are there, a lot of things are pending. Please give me some time. Rabbirji'uni, please give me some time, I want to go back. La'alli a'malu salihan, so that I can go back and do some good deeds. Fima taraktu, which I have left behind. I couldn't fulfill my duties, please allow me. What will be the answer? The answer will be Kalla, Kalla, you're not allowed to go back. Innaha kalimatun. It is simply a word you are uttering. You'll not do. How? So it is in riwayat that will be saying, please give me 1 year. Hazrat Israel will say, how many years came? You didn't do anything. Give me 1 month. How many months came? You didn't do anything. Give me 1 day. And the angel will say, no, you are not allowed for even 1 day or 1 second. Kalla, never, innaha kalimatun. These are the words you are uttering. They are just saying, but they are not allowed to go back. This is the reality of life. Go to the next ayah. This is one shair, Ayatollah Mujtahidi Tehrani, he used to recite this poem. These are the verses, these are some couplets actually from that poem. I'm reciting this and I'm translating in front of you. Amazing. Hale dunya ra bepursidam man as farzani guft ya khab ast ya wahm ast ya afsani. I asked the reality of life from an intellectual person. He said, ya khab ast ya wahm ast ya afsani. It's like a dream. He replied, that intellectual person, about the reality of the life. He said, it is like a dream, or it's a delusion, ya afsani, or a fairy tale. Guftam ahwali umram rabbigu in umr cheez. I told that person, please tell me about my life. What is the reality of life? Tell me about my life. Guft ya barqis ya shami'is ya karvani. He said it's like barq is electricity. It's like sham, like a candle. That the lifespan is very short. Guftamash inan ke mibini chera dil baste an. Guft ya khaban ya mastan ya divane. If my lifespan is very short, I asked that intellectual person that why these people are attached and attracted to this world then? What is the reason? He replied, Ya khaban, either they are sleeping, Ya mastan, Ya they are intoxicated, Ya divane, or they are mad. They don't have aql. If the lifespan is so short, why they are attracted? Go to the next slide. How long is the worldly life? Surah An-Nazi'at, the last verse of Surah An-Nazi'at, 46 number verse. That كَأَنَّهُمْ يَوْمَ يَرَوْنَهَا, the day they see it, on the day of judgment, they will see. When they will be comparing on the day of judgment, that how long was the lifespan of a life, of this worldly life, they will say, لَمْ يَلْبَثُوا إِلَّا عَشِيَّةً أَوْ ضُحَاهَا. They had not stayed in this world except for an evening or afternoon. That's it. In the blink of an eye, it will pass. Ahead of us is abad, eternity, which I'm coming inshallah discussing. Eternity is there. not billions of years, not trillions of years. Eternity is there in front of us. Go to the next slide. There is a discussion of Hazrat Israel والسلام, with Shaykhul Anbiya. Shaykhul Anbiya is Hazrat Nuh والسلام. According to the Holy Quran, Hazrat Nuh والسلام, did tabligh for 950 years. 950 years. And according to some of the riwayat, it is mentioned that his age was 2,500 years. When Hazrat Israel came and said that your story is over, Hazrat Nuh said, my story is over? Wallahi, 2,500 years have passed? He said, yes. Then Hazrat Nuh والسلام, asked for the permission that, will you please allow me that I am sitting under the sun? Will you allow me to come to shade? Hazrat Israel, because he is Shaykhul Anbiya and Quran says nobody is allowed, but he was given permission. Then Hazrat Nuh والسلام, says and speaks to Hazrat Israel والسلام, should I tell you that what is the reason behind this? Why I have come to shade? This is the answer. I wanted to tell you my whole life passed like coming from sun to the shade. This is my life. How many years? 2,500. Hazrat Israel said, Ya Nabi Allah, you're saying that your life is just like passing from sun to the shade, 2,500 years. He said that what will you say about those who will come at the end of the times and their life will be 60 to 70 years? Hazrat Nuh والسلام, says that if I was there, I would have spent the whole of my life in one sajda. Allah. In one sajda. We are planning everything we are doing. This is very unfortunate. I really appreciate DS and Mayyat Committee that they have organized this event. Unfortunately, life after death is not discussed. But the Holy Quran discusses almost 1,200 verses from the Holy Quran. 1/6 of the Holy Quran is regarding life after death. But we are not so serious about life after death. What is going to happen? What am I supposed to do? If I ask you, for example, it's a question from one of you. If you're supposed, can I tell you, stand up and let's go to Iran for ziyarat? You'll say, well, Maulana, I'm not prepared. I have to pack up my bags. I have to put chevlo, ghatia, yeah, Gujarati, huh? We have to get ready. For how many days? For 1 week, for example. You have eternity in front of you. Never-ending life. Have you really prepared? Or we are just saying, oh, we'll see. This is the thing which is showing that we are not serious about it. We are not serious. Go to the next slide, please. And how long is the life of the hereafter? In Surah Hud, verse number 106 and 107. So the life of that world is what was like morning or one afternoon. But Holy Quran says about the life of the hereafter. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ شَقُوا فَفِي النَّارِ. And those who are rest, who are shaqi, they will be in the hellfire. لَهُمْ فِيهَا زَفِيرٌ وَشَهِيقٌ. For them there is nothing but crying and howling. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا. They will be there in that fire forever. Khulud is there. And the Holy Quran says, مَا دَامَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضَ. As long as the heavens and the earth remain. What does it mean, as long as the earth and the heaven remain? It was from the customs of the Arab that when they wanted to describe something that would last forever, they would say like this is enduring as the heavens and the earth. So it's like a proverb actually. Never ever ending life is there. Or for example, go to the next slide. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ سُعِدُوا. And those who are blessed, they shall be in paradise, living there forever as long as the heavens and the earth remain intact. Go to the next slide. Can I ask all of you, The name of this Ayatullah, go to the next slide please. Ayatullah Sayyid Muhammad Hussain Tabatabai. Ayatullah Hassan Zadeh Amli says that we used to sit in the lecture of our teacher, Ayatullah Sayyid Muhammad Tabatabai. Just in between the lecture, he used to say, there was no connection, but he used to repeat it quite oftenly. Ma abad dar pish darim, ma abad dar pish darim. We have eternity ahead of us. We have eternity. We have eternity. He used to repeat it. He used to repeat it. What are we doing? Eternity is there. Go to the next slide. And there is a letter, number 31. I'm just moving fastly. It is an advice from Imam Ali ﷺ to one of his sons. They say that it was to Imam Hassan ﷺ when coming back from Siffin. And after Siffin, Yani Imam was old actually. And he gives some advice. I really advise all of you to go and read this letter. Wallahi. This is the will of Imam Ali ﷺ to Imam Hassan ﷺ. In that will he says, Wa'alam, that, O my child, know that Annaka innama khulikat lil akhirati la lid dunya. Imam says that know that you have been created for the next world, not for this world. Your journey is for the next world. Walil fana'i la lil baqa'i. And you are created for destruction in this world. You're not going to stay in this world forever. وَلِلْ مَوْتِ لَا لِلْحَيَاةِ. And you are created for maut, not for hayat of this dunya. And he continues and says, وَأَنَّكَ فِي مَنْزِلِ قُلْعَةٍ. You are in a place which does not belong to you. It is not your place. A house for making preparations and a passage towards the next world. You have to prepare something for akhirah in this world. You have to do, you have to prepare. Go to the next slide. Can you please tell me about these two pictures? What are these? One is Kigamboni ferry. Number two is Mundukasi bus, Khatanak bus. Khatanak bus, huh? Dangerous. Oh, these two we see in Dar es Salaam. Have you seen any person using this ferry or Kigamboni bus and they have brought their mattress, TV, furniture, everything, and they are sitting and they are chilling out over there? You will not see. What do? They use this and they go out. That's what Imam Ali ﷺ is saying. What did he say? That وَأَنَّكَ فِي مَنْذِلِ كُلْعَةٍ. You are in a place which does not belong to you. It is not your place. This is not your house. A house for making preparations and a passage towards the next world. So you will not bring your old house stuff and sitting there in the Kigamboni ferry. No, you won't do that. Okay? Okay, go to the next slide. I'm finishing this off. Again, go to the next slide. If I ask all of you, who is the most genius, brilliant, intelligent, smart person? I know I'm having in front of me some business-related people, okay? Business community is there. You will say, Maulana, jo ek ka char bana de, wo sabse hoshyar hai. If I give you $1, you convert it to $10? Yeah, he is the most intelligent person. But this is not the case. A person came to Rasul Khuda sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and asked the same question, who is the most intelligent person? Aqyasul mu'mineen, Aqyas. Rasul Khuda said, Aktharuhum dhikran lil maut. The one who remembers his death a lot. What do you mean by remembering death? Should I take out the tasbih of maut? This is the dhikr reminder. No. وَأَشَدُّهُمْ إِسْتِعْدَادًا لَهُ. And they prepare for their death. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْأَقْيَاسِ. They are the most intelligent, smart people. Okay, I'm finishing this off. Okay, this is the last hadith which is related to qabr. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Al-qabru junadi fi kulli yawmin bi khamsi qalamatin. That the grave cries out every day with 5 sentences. The grave, our grave is crying out. There are 5 sentences. Number 1, Ana baytul wahda. I'm a lonely house. Fahmilu ilayya anisa. Come with a companion. I'm lonely. Come with a companion. Number 2, Wa ana baytul dhanama. I'm a house of darkness. Fahmilu ilayya sirajan. Come with a lamp. You need nur in the qabr. Come with lamp. Ana baytu turab. I'm a house of dust. Fahmilu ilayya firashan. Come with a mattress. Come with a carpet. Ana bayt al-faqr. I'm a house of poverty. Fahmilu ilayya kanzan. Come with capital, with treasure. And the last thing, that every day that our graves are crying out, wa ana baytul hayyat. I'm a house of snakes. Fahmilu ilayya taryaka. Come with the antidote. Now, what are the solutions? Rasulullah is saying. Rasulullah says, wa ammal anis. Because the house is a lonely house, you need to have a companion. Rasulullah says, فَتِلَاوَةِ الْقُرْآنِ. Tilawatul Quran is your companion in your grave. وَأَنَا بَيْتُ الظَّلَمَ. And I'm a house of darkness. So you need to bring lamp with you. What is that? أَمَّا السِّرَاجِ. That lamp is Salatul Layl, Namaz al-Shab. This is the lamp. وَأَمَّا الْفِرَاشِ. I'm a house of dust. You need to have a mattress or carpet. فَعَمَلُ الصَّالِحِ. Good acts are mattress or carpet in that dusty house. وَأَمَّا الْكَنْزِ. I'm a house of poverty. The treasure is La ilaha illallah. And the last thing, وَأَمَّا التَّرْيَاقِ. The antidote, because the house of snakes, فَالصَّدَقَةُ. Sadaqah is the antidote in that house of snakes. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Time is running out. Hope I have to move fastly. So, what I have done actually regarding these Islamic laws, go to the next slide. I have divided these Islamic laws into 2 different parts. Number 1, laws relating to a dying person, muhtadar. So before this Mayyat committee arrives, so this is your duty. Laws relating to after that, so this is the job of the Mayyat committee. So I have divided into these 2 parts. Go to the next slide. Laws relating to a dying person. So some rules and regulations are wajib acts, mustahab acts, and makruh acts. The wajib act is in halat ihtizar. Okay, halat ihtizar, that the who is supposed to be taken out from the body must be laid on his back. That person who is in halat ihtizar must be laid on his back. You can see in the picture, if possible, and in a way that the soles of his feet face Qibla. So you can see the Qibla and his soles of his feet are facing Qibla. In that direction, you should lay on his back. Number 2 are the mustahab acts. Some of the mustahab acts are, number 1 is the talqeen. What is talqeen? That you are reciting something in front of that person who is leaving this world, that to impress upon, to familiarize that he understands what you are saying. Number 1 is shahadatain, la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. So you keep reciting this shahadatain. Dua adila is mentioned. Dua of qunut, kalamatul faraj, la ilaha illallah al-halim al-kareem, la ilaha illallah al-ali al-azim. This dua should be recited. Number 2 is iqrar. Iqrar is affirmation. That you are reciting and you are taking affirmation from that person. from muhtadar. Muhtadar, the person who is dying actually, muhtadar. From that person, you are taking affirmation. For example, affirmation of Prophet. You are telling that person that Rasul Khuda is your Prophet. Please affirm this. Maybe just by saying something or moving his head, he can say it. Okay? 12 Imams and other rightful beliefs, for example, regarding Ma'ad, okay, life of the, regarding the day of resurrection. So all these aqaid. Number 3 is the recitation of the Quran. So some of the surah, Surah Yasin, Surah Safat, Ahzab, Ayatul Kursi, and it is recommended as much as possible, Quran should be recited just near to that person, the person who is dying. Quran should be recited until his death. Number 4, if someone is experiencing a painful death, it is recommended that he should be taken to the place where he used to perform prayers. Take him to that place, if it is possible. Makruh acts, these are some makruh acts. So wajib act, so lay him down so that his sole of his feet will be towards Qibla. Mustahab acts we have discussed, these are some makruh acts. Disapproved acts. Number 1, to leave a dying person alone. This is makruh. To place a weighty object on his stomach, it is makruh. To be junub or ha'id near him. A person who is junub or ha'id, a lady, near to that person. Okay. To talk excessively near him, it is makruh. To cry near him, it is makruh. To leave women alone next to him is makruh. Now, laws relating to after death. Again, it is divided into 2, mustahab acts and wajib acts. Now, the person is no more in this world. Mustahab act is to close his lips when he has left this world. Close his lips, eyes and mouth. Okay? To straighten his ends to his side and legs. To cover him up with a piece of cloth, it is mustahab. If someone dies at night, it is recommended to keep the place where he died lighted. So the light should be there, should not be dark. To inform the believers about the funeral. These are the mustahab things. Or 6th thing you can say, 6th thing is to hasten in burying his body. But if there is a pregnant lady and the baby is alive in a womb, you must take out that baby, then stitch her womb, then bury her. To recite Quran near that dead person, this is mustahab. Now let's come to the wajib acts. Wajib acts, there are 5 wajib acts. Ghusl, Hunut, Kafan, Salatul Mayyit, Dafn. So these are 5 wajib acts. Number 1 is ghusl. Okay, it is wajib on the guardian of a Muslim to give ghusl, kafan, dafan, all this stuff. It is wajib on the guardian. If, for example, guardian of the deceased person gives you the permission, then you can do that. But for example, some are rigid person, they are not doing themselves and they are not allowing anyone else. If this is the case, then you do not need to take the permission from that guardian. There's no need, because it becomes wajib kifai, then you have to bury that person. Okay. It is go to the next slide. It is obligatory to give ghusl to Muslim, but there are 2 people it is not wajib. Number 1, a martyr killed in the battlefield. A person who is killed in the battlefield, he is shaheed, then it is not wajib to give ghusl. Okay. Number 2, I think most of you, I feel that you don't know this. A person who is killed because of stoning, rajm. Nowadays we don't have rajm, stoning till death, but we have retribution qisas. For example, if a person kills someone, okay, because of the qisas, he is hanged till death. In that case, there is no need to give ghusl to that person. Do you know why? Because he is given ghusl, he takes bath actually before his death, of ghusl mayyat. So there is no need to give ghusl after his death. Laws of one who gives ghusl. This is important because a lot of people from Mayyat committee are here. The person who is giving ghusl is called mughassil. Mughassil, the one who is giving ghusl. He must be sane. सही है, दीवाना नहीं होना चाहिए, चरिया नहीं होना चाहिए, सेन होना चाहिए, अक्ल हो उसके पास. He should be a Muslim. As per obligatory precaution, Shia Ithna Ashari. As per obligatory precaution. So Atul Sisani has not mentioned Baligh. Bulugh is not shart. Bulugh is not shart. If a mumayyiz child who knows what is right, what is wrong, who is able to discern right and wrong, can give ghusl to a mayyit if he knows the rules and regulations. For example, a boy of age 11 years, for example, 12 years, he's mumayyiz and he's not baligh and he knows everything. So he can give ghusl, there is no rule in it. He must know the rulings of ghusl. So those who are participating as a mughassil, you should know the rulings of it. He must have the intention of attaining proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with qasd qurbat. With qasd qurbat. For example, if you're doing this with riya, showing off, it's batil, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and it is wajib on you to give ghusl, can I charge? Can I take fee? You're not allowed to take fee for giving ghusl. You're not allowed. It's haram. If I take fee, if I'm charging, the ghusl is batil. Ghusl is batil. But you can charge fee for some expensive, for example, not for giving ghusl, for bringing water, for bringing sidr, berry leaves and all this stuff, kafur, for arranging all this stuff, I'm charging for that. There's no problem in that. But you cannot charge for giving ghusl. If you charge, it is batil. Number 5, looking at the private parts of the corpse. It's haram. You are not allowed to look at the private parts of a deceased person. You're not allowed. If someone looks, Allah, nobody looks. If someone looks, it is haram, but ghusl is okay. Ghusl is okay, but he has done a haram act. But there are some people, number 6, I'll come to it, except in the case of husband and wife. Husband and wife can see the private parts, there is no problem in that. Husband and wife. And husband can give ghusl to wife, wife can give ghusl to husband, there is no problem in it. Same gender, male give ghusl to male, female give ghusl to female. And the condition of a mughassil. But there are 3 exceptions. Number 1, a non-mumayyiz child, a deceased person is a non-mumayyiz child. So, if he's a boy, so a lady can give ghusl. If she's a girl, a male can give ghusl to that non-mumayyiz child. And Ayatul Sistani mentions better not more than 3 years. Up to 3 years it is okay. So you can give ghusl. Husband and wife. So same gender, the exception is there. Mahram. Mahram means brothers and sisters, biological. But brother can give it to sister, sister can give it to brother. But if same gender is not available, if same gender is not available, let me tell you the scenario. First, Shia Ithna Ashari from the same gender should give ghusl. A lady has passed away, a lady should come and she's Shia Ithna Ashari. If no Shia Ithna Ashari of same gender is available, then the mahram will come. You're not allowed to give it to Ahl Sunnah. No. From different gender, but mahram will come here. Brother will give it to his sister, but he will cover the private parts. For example, now, mahram is not available, even of the opposite gender, not available. The first one was Shia Ithna Ashari from same gender. Second was mahram, okay, Shia Ithna Ashari. If Shia Ithna Ashari are not there, the third stage, same gender of Ahlus Sunnah. If same gender of Ahlul Sunnah are not available, same gender of Ahlul Kitab, Christian or a Jew, if they are not available, leave the ghusl, give kafan and bury. Listen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Those who are sleeping, speak and say loud salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Okay, I'm stopping here and I'll take questions from you because I can see the clock is moving very fastly. So let me take the questions from you and see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there will be a link of Slido. You can see, so you can send your question on Slido. Okay. 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 If someone is pious, if someone is pious and God-fearing, you said the first night is difficult. What or why does the person need any prayers? Okay. By the way, we have not discussed till now. See, even not because of that person actually. I remember some of the stories of Aim alayhi salatu wassalam. Even Hazrat Imam Hassan al-Mujtab alayhi salatu wassalam, he did 25 Hajj while walking from Medina to Makkah. 25 Hajj. Thrice he gave away all of his earnings to the poor. And he is the Imam of his time. Before his death, he used to cry. What is the reason? He was crying just because he is a sinner? God forbid? No, this is not the reason. Iski wajah ye hai that in front of which personality I am going. This is very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is my Malik. If, for example, you are pious, you are offering namaz-e-shab, you are not doing any guna. If someone tells you, go and meet with Imam Zaman alayhi salatu wassalam, what will be your halat? It will be very difficult. Ayatullah, I'm just forgetting the name of that Ayatullah. When he met with Imam Zaman alayhi salatu wassalam, he told Imam Zaman, Imam, please do not come near to me. My heart is running fast. I cannot bear it. That's not the case that, God forbid, that Imam is oppressor. No, that's not the reason. Because of the personality. We are doing the dua for that person not because that he is a sinner. No, he's a good person. But he needs our du'as and prayer so that he can get a higher status in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one. And sometimes the questions are difficult. Wallah, it is difficult. It's not that easy. And we have a lot of waqi'at, stories, that Ayatullah who were arif of their time, they were in difficulty. It's not that easy. तो उनकी मुश्किलात को आसान करने के लिए हम यहाँ से दुआ करते हैं. So the difficulties should not be there. Son has to get amputated. How is the body? If a person has to get amputated, how is that body part buried? So you will give a ghusl to that part as well. Then you will bury that part with the mayyat. There is no problem in that. With that body, you will bury. For example, the amputated उसका हाथ जो है, इसका hand जो है separate हो गया है. आप उसको भी ghusl देंगे और साथ में उसी के साथ जो है body के साथ रख के उसको bury करेंगे. You will bury that amputated part as well. Why is a woman not allowed to be left alone with a person? This philosophical question, please, I don't know. Maybe just because ladies are more, for example, if I say, इनके पास जज्बात ज़्यादा होते हैं, they have more feelings. Maybe they will cry, or I don't know what is the reason. The exact reason Allah knows. Maybe because of the feelings. That's why a male should be there. It's difficult for them to control their emotions. They are more emotional than men. That's for sure. I don't know what is the exact reason behind that. We don't know the philosophical answers to this. Okay. I'll go to this. After how long can you rinse the cover of a dead person for his relative to be buried? Okay, you're saying that you want to bury another person in the. Okay, you can reply. You want to reply?
18 years.
Huh?
18 years.
18 years, there's. Yeah. If a family doesn't have any male mahram to bury their relative, who does the talqeen? Can a female from that family do the talqeen? What do you do if some?
Only the man. The Mayat committee.
The Mayat committee is doing the talqeen. Okay. By the way, talqeen is not a wajib part of the burial process. The wajib parts are 5. It is mustahab. So they can do that. There is no problem. But they won't be touching the female deceased person. It is male. Have any male mahram to bury? Yeah. Okay. So for the male you are saying, yeah, sorry. So the males are there. How true are dreams of deceased? I don't know. How true are this? I don't know. I'm not a dream teller. I don't know about this. Allah. They are not sure of how many. What if we are not sure of how many qadha namaz does the mahram have? Then what to do? See, there are 2 scenarios. Do you know, are you sure there are some qadha namaz on that person? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. So there is something. How many qadha namaz? That I don't know. I know some are there, but I don't know the number of days or number of namaz. So you have to keep that number of namaz as qaza namaz. So you reach up to certainty that I have performed my obligation and that much namaz is done. If, for example, I'm not sure whether there is some qaza namaz on that person or not, then there is nothing on that person. I'm not sure. For example, I myself, I don't know, is there any qaza namaz on me or not? There is nothing. There is nothing. But the other case is, I have some qaza namaz on me, I'm sure. But I don't know how many qaza namaz. Now it's a different issue. I'm sure there is something. Okay? So I have to keep or offer such number of rakat or such number of namaz. So I reach up to the position of certainty that I have offered my obligation. So, what if we are not sure of how? Okay, it's done. Okay, can we please have a detailed talk on death and barzakh in future sessions? Inshallah. Recite one salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi. Often we should have these sessions. Wallahi, we should have. Barzakh, alam hashr and nashr, pul sirat, mizan. Oh, there's a whole journey. We should know. We should know. How do you bury a baby that is not completely developed but has died in the stomach? Okay, this is the question actually. I couldn't reach up to that position. So, it is mentioned, okay, a baby of 4 months, even lesser than that, okay? Ghusl is wajib, but there is no namaz on that baby. You are not going to recite namaz, salatul mayyit on that baby. Salatul Mayyit will come if the age is 6 years. How much? 6 years. If a lady has qaza prayers and fasts and dies before she can pay them, does she get sin? Okay, if a lady has qaza prayers and fasts and dies before she can pay, what do you mean by paying them? To pay someone to offer namaz and roza on behalf of her, it is not allowed. When a person is alive, so istijari namaz and roza is not there. Or if you are saying paying them off means that she was not able to fast or she was not able to offer her salah. Is she sinful or not? The answer will be, for example, I have qaza namaz of 1 year, for example, and I'm not doing anything. I'm chilling out. I'm not doing anything. I'm enjoying my life. If I die, can I bring an excuse in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Oh Allah, please forgive me. There's no excuse. But on the other side, if I have a qaza namaz of 1 year, but I can pray, for example, 1 day of qaza namaz every day, not more than that. And I've started praying my qaza namaz. After 1 month, okay, I die. So how many months of qaza namaz are there on me? 11 months. Can I bring an excuse in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not? Yes, I can. I can say, Ya Allah, I started my qaza namaz, but couldn't finish that off. So I have an excuse. But that 11 month of qaza namaz should be prayed on behalf of you. But I'm not a sinful person. At least I have a reason. I have an excuse. Do we have some sort of excuse in front of Allah or not? That we have to justify after our death. Do we really have an excuse? I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting. I'm not doing istighfar, whatever sins I have performed. Roza, namaz, radd mazalim, hajj, zakat, khums, everything. I'm not doing anything, so it's difficult. Okay. If a mayyit has a wajib ghusl on it, the deceased person, for example, ghusl janabat was there. So should we give ghusl janabat and the other 3 ghusl? No. Ayatollah Sistani says that these 3 ghusl which we give are sufficient. There is no need to give ghusl janabat or ghusl hayz, ghusl nifas. There is no need. There is no need. Is qaza of mayyit to be performed by first-born male? Does that mean only if he is first-born in number, or first male even after the elder is no. So the eldest son is supposed when dead is his father is alive. For example. Person A and person B. Person A was the eldest son of his father, and person B was the next one. But person A passes away in the life of his father. And when the father passes away, who is the eldest son? The eldest son is person B. Then he is supposed to recite, it becomes wajib on him. Yeah, the eldest son. Okay. What is the aim of performing ghusl in the dead body? Again, as far as this is concerned, it is the takreem of mayyit. Takreem means ihtiram of mayyit. This is, I can say. Other concepts are not discussed. Philosophical questions many times you are asking, but it is not discussed in riwayat. Maybe the actual reason is something else. Maybe one of the wisdom is this, but the actual reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. This is for the takreem of the mayyat, for the ihtaram of the mayyat. That's what I can say. Are there any possible chances to go to heaven after a suicide? Allah is the one who is deciding. Maulana doesn't know himself, he'll go to Jannah. What can I say? This Allah knows best. Allah knows the best. Because of His fazl, He can send someone to Jannah. But we don't know about them. Allah knows the best. Are we purifying the soul or the body while performing ghusl? Baba, we are giving ghusl to the body, we are not giving ghusl to the soul. Okay? It is related to the spirituality, although, but the ghusl is related to the body, not to the soul. Okay? Okay, I'm just closing it within 5 minutes, inshallah. Okay. Oh, it's very. What if person B has the financial capability or capacity to do the niyabat and person A doesn't? Can B help A? Yes, he can help. For example, I'm the guardian of the mayyat. I'm supposed to perform all this stuff, but I cannot because of the financial capability. I don't have the capacity to perform all these things. Or for example, I'm not available. For example, I'm in jail, I'm in prison. I cannot come and perform all this. So it becomes wajib on other mu'mineen, those who have the capacity. It becomes wajib on those people who have this capacity to perform. If no one does, then all of them are sinner. They have done guna. This is wajib kifai. This is wajib kifai. If a family has no sons, can the first female do the qada namaz? Yes, she can do, but it's not wajib on her, but she can do. I'm taking a last question because a lot of questions are there. I'm sitting here, I'm not going anywhere. I'll reply it, but I have to finish this session. If a person dies when he was burnt, how do we perform ghusl? So the practical experience from the Mayyat committee. What will you do?
Now, it depends on if the part of the body is burnt or the whole body is burnt. So we try and perform the ghusl as normal ghusl as you do. But in case if the body is in a very bad state and we cannot use water on the body, then we use the alternative of tayammum.
Regarding this tayammum, and let me tell you, you cannot throw the body in the swimming pool. You cannot throw. Okay, this is not allowed. Number two, ghusl jabira is not allowed. Jabira is not allowed. Either you give ghusl tartibi or you do tayammum. Okay, ghusl jabira and ghusl irtimasi is not allowed. Recite salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli
Brothers and sisters, we are now at the end of our program. First of all, we thank you for great attendance and coming. I'm sure we have not covered everything, but we are planning to keep a second session to have a continuation. The second thing is we are passing a feedback form to everybody who's attended. So please take time and just scan the code and you can give us your feedback so we can organize future program. Lastly, before we close this program, we request you all to recite Surah Fatiha for all our Mahumins.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will now have a representative from Development Society come and say some final words.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we find ourselves at the conclusion of this first session, but inshallah the beginning of many more sessions just like this. I'd like to take this opportunity to firstly thank all of you that have taken your time on a Tuesday night to come and attend this program. It means a lot to the organizers as well as those who have put in a lot of effort that you have all shown up and brought your marvelous questions so that all of us have learned something new today. Next, I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank Sheikh Kamran as well as the KSIJ Mayat Committee. Both of these groups, Sheikh as an individual and the group of Mayat Committee, have been extremely supportive in bringing this event forward. Their guidance, their experience is something that we should all value, and we would like to take this opportunity to pray for them to get even more tawfiq to do this very important job that they do and this very important responsibility that they carry on their shoulders on behalf of us, the whole community. So I'd like to extend our gratitude, Mayat Committee, as well as Sheikh Kamran. Thank you so much, Jazakallah. Once again, we would like to appreciate the media room for organizing Slido and an efficient way for us to display the questions as well as the feedback form. Kind reminder to everyone, please do fill in the feedback form. It will allow us to get your needs, it will allow us to understand what the needs of the community are so that we can organize events like this in the future. Finally, we would like to pray for the Dhuhr of our 12th Holy Imam, as well as to pray that we are blessed with an honorable death and a safe journey into the Akhirah. Wa akhiru da'wan, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Sorry, just before we leave, just a kind announcement for the ladies' side. On the ladies' Imam Barga side, as well as the gents on the gents Imam Barga side, we have refreshments. Please do make your way, and thank you very much once again.